This is Todd Medina, your authority in MMA and all things concerned. What we're going to go over today is the most important punch in boxing and fighting. And you know that? What's the answer? The most important punch in boxing or fighting is the jab. So we're going to go over a couple setups or why it is the most important punch in fighting. So ideally, when we go, okay, so you have your two boxing stance. Hands up, elbows in, knees bent, chin down. And once again, I got a laundry list of reasons why the jab is the most important punch, and you know how to set it up and what it details and entails and that whole thing. So we'll do a couple of videos and explain it. But I see so many people, mostly in MMA, okay, they're so concerned on that cross. They're just dropping that cross, bang. For example, they'll throw the jab at like 20% and then throw that cross with like bad intentions, boom. Which it's good to throw a punch. It's good to throw a punch with bad intentions, don't get me wrong. But to go from a 20% jab to an 80% cross is just not going to work, okay? And if you're going to fight somebody who knows what they're doing or, you know, has a good corner, they'll break that stuff down. So if anything, it needs to be the opposite around. When you throw that jab, you have to make your opponent, your training partner too, but your opponent respect that jab, okay? You should be able to knock somebody out with that jab at all times, okay? And if you aren't, it's because you're not in true boxing stance, one, and two is because you don't train it enough, okay? Everybody's on that cross, boom, boom, boom. Which, don't get me wrong, it's good to have a cross, but once again, the most important punch in boxing is the jab. It sets things up, feint, fake, get you out of range, into range. There's just a laundry list, and we're going to go over these things, why, and a bunch of things. But today, what we're going to do, a couple of them, is the jab. So what you're going to do, again, you're in true boxing stance. Let me borrow my boy Rock. Rock. True boxing stance. Boom. Okay, so if you notice, he's got hands up, elbows in, and you can't see this so much, but knees bent, chin down. Okay, now with that jab, imagine this. So say you have a rope around your elbow, okay? And at the bottom of that rope is a 100-pound dumbbell. You could pick it up, ideally, you could pick it up, but ideally you need to keep it down. It's going to keep that elbow down, okay? Because you need to stop any of those body shots that are coming through, okay? So that's one of the first things, is keeping that true boxing stance, that elbow is down, okay? You need to cover that body. If that elbow's up and you get somebody who's a burst, he's going to take that body. He's going to want that body shot, okay? Another thing I do on these videos, we're going to rabbit hole a little bit. Too many people are headhunting, okay? You don't necessarily need to. If you touch that body a little bit, whoo, those hands are going to come down. You can have that head all day long, okay? So once again, true boxing stance, hands up, elbows in, knees bent. Okay, so that elbow's in tight, okay? There's a couple different ways you can look at this. So one, when that elbow's there, it's always holstered, okay? That you can use that one, or cup and saucer. We'll use either one. But for right now, so it's holstered. He can't punch, he can't shoot unless that thing's holstered, okay? So for example, he shoots that jab straight out and straight back. Okay, that elbow, that arm's in the same place it was, okay? So that's the holster effect. So that arm's always holstered, and then you're going to shoot it when you need it. Or it's analogies. Everybody has the clicks in their head, whatever works for them. So my hand will be the saucer, and his elbow will be the cup. So check this out. He's got true boxing stance, okay? Now, here's the saucer, here's the cup. So he's going to shoot that jab and bring it right back, okay? Once again, and right back. Every time you throw that jab, that punch, we're talking about the jab today, it's going to come exactly back where it was, okay? You can't leave it out there. And here's another one you need to know, which I know you do know. If a punch goes out at 100 miles an hour, how fast does it come back? Everybody knows this, right? 200 miles an hour. Your punch always comes back double speed, okay? If I'm fighting somebody good and I leave that jab out there, his jab's gonna come back and touch me every time, okay? So once again, if it goes out at 100 miles an hour, it has to come back double speed, 200. Or if it goes out 200, it comes back 400, however you wanna look at it, okay? So we start this, Rock's in the true boxing stance, okay? Saucer, cup. He's gonna shoot that jab, and it comes right back. He doesn't have to look at it. He's just used to it. He's going to shoot it out and bring it right back. Or if you like the analogy, holster it. You're going to, this is your gun. You're going to holster it. You can't shoot your gun unless it's in the holster. You're going to take it out of the holster and shoot it. Go for it. And then bring it back. Okay, so those are the two analogies. I'll leave you with that one. So you have a cup and saucer. Your elbow's the cup, hands the saucer. Boom, it's going to shoot and come back. Okay, or holster. Okay, this is a gun and it's holstered. You can't shoot it unless it's holstered. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Okay, so those are two things. So one, how fast does the punch go out, or how fast does it come back? Always double speed. Always. Okay. It goes out at 125, comes back at 250. I'll throw oddball numbers out just to mess with people. But that hand's got to come back quick, because a punch is going to come back, and if it doesn't, then your opponent's just not up to speed and needs a new coach or something like that, okay? So that's the first thing. Your jab, your punch always has to come back double speed. And two, from your true boxing stance, that elbow has to stay in. You have to keep that body covered, okay? Boom. If that elbow's out, one, I can get punched in the body fairly easy. And two, my opponent's going to see what punch is coming. Okay, so those elbows got to be down, because I might be able to see what arm's going to throw it, but I don't know what angle it's going to come from. And then, so the third one on that is we're going to go either the cup and saucer or the holster. So but that hand's that's got to be loaded. Okay, that arm's got to be loaded. You can't explode off an explosion. Now you're going to fight different opponents different ways. What I can do, like say, for example. I'm going to use rock here again in a minute. But normally here's my true boxing stance, but sometimes I'll have that hand out here like a screen, okay? I'm not going to get the best punch, the best results off that, because it's not loaded, okay? Once again, you can't explode off in an explosion with that, okay? So if I'm in my true boxing stance, if Rock's in his true boxing stance, he can throw that thing at any time, okay? His feet are always going to be underneath him. His arms loaded, his elbows in tight, he's ready to go. Okay, so once again, cup and saucer, he's gonna boom, boom. Now he doesn't have to look at all, because that arm is always gonna come back there. We're just gonna stick with these for right now today. A great drill for this, the jab, especially if you don't have a training partner, your coach isn't around, or even if you do, just on the side, get the bands. Okay, we'll shoot another video in the next couple days about the bands. That band will make that, your fist will literally come through the back of somebody's head, okay? Just drill those bands. But that's the most important punch in boxing, is the jab, okay? So please, if you have questions, comments, hit us up. We'll get after it, and appreciate you, and hope everybody has a good day. So if you didn't know,
now you know.